This is Christopher Moldong of Chris's Storytelling Corner. Today I'm going to do a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 15 and 16. Next time I'll have a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 17 and 18, a reading of my fantasy short story The Witch's Origin, and in a couple weeks I'll have a journal for my time in WonderCon. Check out my Twitter page and author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. I'd also really like to hear from you guys as well, so please leave any comments. Make sure to subscribe and share this channel as well. So, the way that this is going to work is that I am going to give a recap of volume 15 of Skip Beat and then give my thoughts on the volume and do the same for volume 16. So, let's get to the recap of volume 15 of Skip Beat. The volume begins with Kyoko trying to take a bath alone, but Shoko's there, and they take a bath together. Shoko reveals that she wanted to be an actress when she was in college. She wanted to stay in showbiz, so she became a manager because acting was not panning out for her. Shoko realized for the first time that show wasn't okay. Sho will write a new song. He assures Shoko that the CD will drop on schedule. Sho sits and waits for Shoko to finish her bath, and Beagle appears, and Sho laughs at them, imagining them as beagles. The lead singer of Beagle, Reino, looks towards the baths. Kyoko comes out of the bath. Reino finds it erotic that Kyoko is in a yukata with her hair wet. She tells Kyoko, or Sho tells Kyoko to turn on her switch, and the two argue. The switch being that, like, she seems to be very much off guard with Reino and what he said, and the switch is to be, like, I guess, more on guard and maybe even have her hate waves out. The Beagle members think that they're going out, but Kyoko says that there's no way that she'd get in a relationship with him, with Sho. Reino tells Kyoko that she's special, and then Kyoko returns to her room and Miss Momose is there. She tells Kyoko that her cell phone has been ringing, but there's no caller ID. Kyoko calls the number and it's Mr. Suruga. He asks what's the matter and if something's wrong, but she says that she has bad reception and is alright. However, she's shaking as she speaks with him. So obviously things are not alright. Kyoko tells Ren that nothing really happened today and nothing in particular worth mentioning. In another room, Shoko mentions that Sho and Beagle are glaring at each other, and Sho says nothing really happened. Kyoko eats lunch with Miss Momose, but Kyoko is acting all paranoid, and Sho appears and puts food on her tray that is traditional Japanese, which she prefers. So Kyoko and Sho then eat together. Later, Miss Momose asks Kyoko if she's going out with Sho. Kyoko says that they're just what you'd call a childhood friend. Miss Momose tells her that Sho has been on the set all this time, and Kyoko dresses Mio, hits him with a grudge, and tells him to stop loafing around. Sho says that he's working and shows her a piece that he's working on. Elsewhere, Vigil finds out from the spy that Sho is working on a new song. Reino tells his bandmates that he's going out to see Little Red Riding Hood. Sho asks about the male star and why he's late. Kyoko tells him it's Mr. Suruga, and he has work somewhere else and arriving tomorrow. Shoko, who's with someone else, then finds Sho. Elsewhere, Ren is not taking any breaks so that he can rejoin his castmates today, as soon as possible. Shoko convinces Sho not to work there where he's going to inconvenience everyone, and then Sho tells Kyoko not to go wandering off alone away from the set. Kyoko reveals that Vigil doesn't know where the set is, so he won't come here. However, Reino is seen hiding behind a tree. Sho reveals that he never went to sleep and was writing a new song. He has 3 songs almost done, but just needs to polish them up. Sho and Shoko overhear 2 women talking about Reino. Sho asks them where Reino went, and the girls point to pretty much where Sho came from. Sho runs off in that direction, and a crew member tells Kyoko that someone is looking for her. So past the window, he points to Reino. Kyoko tells the crew member that Reino is not a friend and to tell him that she's not around. Then this crew member goes to talk to Reino, but Reino goes into the set where he's not allowed. The Reino then chases after Kyoko and seemingly knows where she is at all times. So Sho appears on the set and Ogata tells him that Kyoko went out because someone went to see her. The crew member that was with Kyoko comes back to the set with her slippers and tells Ogata that he doesn't know what's happening. So Reino finds Kyoko alone in the woods. The crew member shows Ogata and Sho the window that Reino pretty much jumped out of. Um, Sho jumps out of that window and rushes off. The crew member tells Ogata that Reino was stalking her, and then back with Reino, he grabs Kyoko and brings her towards him, but Kyoko freezes. Ogata is then seen following after Sho. Reino reveals that the company just wanted musicians who could beat Fuwa. However, he doesn't care about major labels, and it just sounded fun to pretty much beat Fuwa. Reino just wanted to see Sho fail miserably and humiliate him. So, Kyoko unleashes her hate waves where it makes an explosion, and Sho and I think Ogata sees it as well. Kyoko reveals that she can't allow Sho to lose against anybody in the music scene because the first person who makes him feel defeat and despair has to be her. Kyoko calls Sho her prey, and then Reino tells Kyoko that he'll stop harassing Fuwa, but will bully her instead. He explains to her that if she hates him as much as she hates Fuwa, then she will be passionate about him too. Reino goes to kiss Kyoko, but Sho throws a punch at him, which Reino grabs. Sho tries to punch Reino again, but Ogata stops Sho. Ogata suggests that they go to the police and file a complaint, but Reino says that he doesn't care and that he couldn't even kiss Kyoko. He says that the gossip will benefit both he and Kyoko, claiming that the tabloids will report it as Mio, the Dark Moon daughter of a millionaire raped by Vigal frontman Reino in broad daylight. Kyoko says that she doesn't care about her image, but she can't let Mio be tarnished by Reino. Reino says that he'll leak this to the press and make it public to force her to think about him all the time. He then tries to run away. Um, Yashiro arrives on the Dark Moon set and he's apparently early. In a flashback, Ren tells Yashiro that maybe something is happening on location, and Yashiro tells him that he'll go there tomorrow and keep him posted. Yashiro asks Miss Momose where Kyoko is, but she tells him that she doesn't really know what happened. Sho stops Reino from running away, and pretty much by kicking his like coat and making him stop and pinning it to a tree. Um, but Reino tells Sho that his current objective is for Kyoko to bear a grudge against him. It'll make her think about him all the time. Sho tells Reino that he can't have someone like him take what's his, and then he knees Reino in the stomach. Sho then tells Reino to go wherever he wants, to the tabloids or the police, but only if he has the strength left to do so. Sho then gives Reino an evil grin. We're then shown Ren heading to Naha Airport. Ogata tells the Dark Moon crew that if someone asks about the stalking incident, tell them you don't know who it is, and that you only know that he isn't a celebrity. So Miss Momose and Kyoko go to the bus. In a flashback, it's shown that Sho told Ogata and Kyoko that he settled things with Reino, and that he won't talk about what happened. Ogata goes to Kyoko and whispers something to her, and at the hotel, Kyoko sees Mr. Suruga and he'll stay with her. Ren, Kyoko, and Yashiro have something to drink at Ren's room. Ren reveals that he heard from Yashiro that a lot of things seem to happen, and Ren tells Kyoko that she lied to him again on the phone, and that the stalker was already after her then. Kyoko is about to do a dogeza, but Ren stops her and tells Kyoko that he's not angry at her. Ren then says that he hopes that there's nothing else that Kyoko is hiding from him. Kyoko and Yashiro are worried. They don't want to tell Ren about Sho Fuwa and what he did for Kyoko. Ren asks Kyoko what she's hiding, but then someone knocks on the door, and Ren checks to see who it is. At the end of the volume, Sho is revealed to be the one who knocked and tells Ren to bring Kyoko out now. So, my thoughts on the volume. It looks like Sho is writing a new song, and not just a new song, many new songs, which is kind of crazy because the spy is around to take the songs for Vigal. So I don't know what's going on here. He's either not very smart or he has a plan. Get to know a little bit about Sho Fuwa here. He's not. He's still a pretty bad guy. I mean, it's just like Kyoko is his. It's like he still has this possessiveness of Kyoko. Um, but obviously he's defending her quite a bit. So it's very interesting. It's at first it was just pure ownership, and I think that's still around. But I think there's some there might have some genuine feelings for him here. He's definitely a bit more humanistic of a character, not just some bad dude that left his not even girlfriend. I mean, you can't even say that Kyoko was his girlfriend. Pretty much in the dust. He seems to be a complex character. The Shofuwa character that he built and reputation that built obviously is very important to him, and Kyoko might be important to him as well. You can also tell that he's something of a pretty good. He seems like a something of a fighter. We get to know a little bit more about Vigal and Reno, and like I said with Skip Beat, it is full of very bad people. Terrible people actually. And Reno, honestly, there aren't really many redeeming qualities about Reno. And Vigal themselves. I mean, it's just kind of like they're not. They're likably unlikable in a sense because like they try to play things kind of comically. But at the same time, if you really look at them, it's like, hey, dude, you guys are like mocking Shofua and whatnot. Yet here you are just copying the guy. Like, I don't really get where they come off thinking that they're better than him in any way, shape, or form. But so there's that really weird thing going on. I mean, they are just like, in a sense, they're kind of robotic. In a sense, they don't ever really have humanistic traits per se. They're just a bunch of evil, somewhat evil dudes that were put together to get rid of Shofua, and they, you know, for some reason are really high and mighty, but they're the ones that are relying on Sho for their own success. So it's a really odd thing. Um, there's not much depth to these people. That like they're just shown as kind of bad people. I mean, not, but I mean, the manga makes them not seem like terrible people. They just seem like people without depth. They're actually a bit. They can be a bit comical. Reino though is a pretty bad guy. I mean, there he is stalking Kyoko. He's very twisted. You don't really know how he got to be this way, but his objective with Kyoko is similar. It's kind of the same as Show in a sense. It's just like I want her to hate me because now she's going to think about me all the time. So I'm gonna do these evil, nasty things to her. Um, yeah, and definitely this was Reino stalking Kyoko. As far as I can see so far in the manga, has seemed to be one of the more pronounced things, like pronounced conflicts that has happened to Kyoko so far. You know, this is one of the few times where Kyoko can't really seem to do anything about it. She can't unleash her grudges on him. you know, if she makes some proclaims some sort of announcement or something to him, he just kind of brushes it off. Um, so this is one of the conflicts right now where she definitely needs one of the male, you know, potential love interests, eh, dare I say protagonists, to kind of help her fight against Reino, because obviously she can't do it herself. And speaking of fighting, I mean, Sho just literally fought against Reino. You find out that Reino intimidates people, but he's not physically strong, or seemingly so. And Sho beats him up quite a bit. I mean, so that was actually, like I watch, I'm reading that scene and I'm like, oh, Reno kind of got his just desserts. It's like he kind of deserved for this to happen. I mean, in this world, in this manga world at least, you kind of wanted Reno to receive some level of repercussion for what he's doing to Kyoko, stalking her, making her feel bad, um, and whatnot. So it was a bit, it dare I say, satisfying to see that show need him in the body, and then presumably beat him up pretty bad. You know. It also looks like Ren Suruga is appearing, so that is going to be very interesting. And um, the other thing is, I kind of wonder if he's going to have any interactions with Reno or not. Obviously, as we know in the end of the volume, that he has interactions with Sho, and that usually leads to fireworks. But Ren appearing kind of, I don't know, she has another protector, but now it's just kind of like, okay, it looks like she has to explain a lot of things to him, and I don't know if she's ready to. Ren takes things real badly. I mean, it's just like, like like I get it. He obviously likes her, and the fact of the matter is, it's like, oh, you're hiding something from me, Miss Mogami. It's like, yeah, that's not your business, bro. I mean, like, if you really think about it, it's like it's. I mean, you're just co-star. You're employees together, but that's it. She's not obligated to Ren her life story. Yet when she doesn't, he gets angry at her, and it's just like, dude, she doesn't have that obligation to him, but they definitely treat this manga like she does. They're not a couple. Um, he's just her senior, and maybe it's a different culture thing, I suppose, but like, like once again, I just I can't agree with it. I understand why they do it. It progresses the story. It gives a more personal reason for Ren being there instead of just being some dude that's just there. He's more personally and intimately involved in the situation now. So I get that, but like, when you actually like think about it, it's like, man, it's really not your business, I mean, that's the thing, but I guess it is, and we saw Sho appearing at Run's door to his room, and Sho already is at, he's been with puffing his chest out and being like, get Kyoko out now, to Ren. I'm like, dude, you may have beaten up Reno. I don't know if you're beating up Rensuru guy here. This guy towers over you. I think he can fight himself, possibly. Um, but that's going to be some fireworks too, because it's not like Shofua is a cast member of Dark Moon or something. I mean, it's like, what's going on here? If you're Ren, it's like, wait, what is going on here? I thought you hated Shofu wa Kyoko, Miss Mogami, like so. We'll see what happens in the next volume. But before we get into the next volume, I'd like to plug my author's website at www.chrismodong.com. You can read a new blog post every week on there. I just put a new one up about being uncomfortable being an author and just evolving in general. Also, do you like action, adventure, fantasy, crazy characters? A different world than your own, then buy my book, The Mustard Prince in the Convent Kingdom, for just $4.99 via ebook on Amazon.com or on my author's website. Links to buy it will be provided on the page description. So let's go to volume 16. The volume begins with Sho at Ren's door. Miss Momose is with Sho as well. Miss Momose was looking for Kyoko and she thought that something happened to her and panicked. She wanted to be discreet about it and had the front desk call Shotaro Fuwa. Kyoko and Yashiro tried to apologize to Miss Momose for making her worried, but Sho then blames Ren for this situation for inviting Kyoko over to his room when people are trying to cover up this incident. Ren then gives his lying, gentlemanly smile and apologizes to Miss Momose. He then asks Kyoko why Shofua, who is not a member of the crew, knows what happened. Sho asks Ren why he's asking that and says that his manager should have told him what happened. Sho tells Ren that maybe there's something that everyone else knows except for Ren. Sho mentions who protected Kyoko from the stalker, and Ren is surprised. Sho mentions that only outsiders are given a different story, and then Kyoko tries to explain herself to Ren, but he is clearly angry. Ren tells everyone to leave him alone for a while. Elsewhere, Reino is sleeping in his coffin, and his bandmate comes to get him. They apparently found him in the forest. He told him that it's anemia because he is like lying down against a tree. His bandmate says that maybe something else happened to him when he went to see Little Red Riding Hood. Elsewhere, Sho thinks about what happened. He realizes that Ren thinks of Kyoko as more than just a colleague. Kyoko has a dream where Ren tells her not to speak to him anymore except at work. Ren takes a walk in the forest. He imagines Kyoko apologizing to him and telling him not to approach her again. Kyoko's seen in the forest next to a river, and she's pretty much in her La La Land, fairyland place. Kyoko keeps walking around and runs into Ren. They see each other and just make these really weird, surprised faces. Ren tries to play it cool though, but it just makes Kyoko warier of him. She then surprisingly asks Ren if she can join him. He tells her of course. Kyoko tells Ren that she came here to recharge. Then tells Kyoko for them to go back to the hotel. Kyoko thinks that Ren is upset, but the thing is, Ren thinks that he'll become a pervert if he stays here longer alone with her. Kyoko reveals that the stalker is a professional musician. After the incident, she found it hard to tell him the truth. The next day, Kyoko and Miss Momose go to have breakfast, but on the way, Kyoko sees Sho and runs after him and tells Miss Momose to go eat first. Yashiro and Ren have breakfast together somewhere else. Ren tells him that he was supposed to keep him posted, but he instead covered things up. Yashiro apologizes, and Ren tells him that he's not worried about it. After they eat, Ren decides to go up and down the stairs to burn off what he ate, and he ate a lot. He hears Kyoko and finds that Kyoko is talking to Sho. Kyoko gives Sho a partial thanks for rescuing her yesterday. Kyoko asks how he settled things with Reino. He tells her that he beat his eye line to a pulp. So it's like the eye line apparently is the area that people cannot see. It seems like to be more like the torso, body area, back, but not like the face or anything like that. It seems like that's what it is, at least. She asked why he risked so much to shut him up. All Sho was thinking about was her safety. Ren concludes that those two must be bound by some sort of fate. Sho then tells Kyoko, I lie, but then he gets interrupted by Ren. Ren concludes that if it's God's will or destiny, then he'll crush it and dare to move against God himself. Meaning, like if so, if it's destiny for Sho and Kyoko to get together. Ren asks Kyoko what she's doing in a place like this and asks if she's ready to leave as she has less than half an hour until the shoot begins. Kyoko hasn't had breakfast yet, and Ren asks if they shall go together. Ren claims that he was just about to go get his breakfast. Oh, you really, Ren? So you didn't eat with Mr. Yashiro, you know? Ren, with his beaming smile, apologizes to Sho about yesterday. Ren thanks Sho for saving Kyoko, but at the same time brings Kyoko close to him and holds her as if they're a couple. Kyoko tells Ren that there's no need to thank Sho and that she was put in danger because of him. Sho guesses that Kyoko doesn't see Ren's feelings at all. Kyoko tells Sho that she doesn't think that she owes him anything for this incident. Sho tells her that his saving her makes them even. Sho feels that he got a favor from her, even if she doesn't realize it. On the bus, Ren, who is not feeling well, is sitting next to Yashiro. Kyoko goes up to them and tells Yashiro that Ren is ill because she forced him to eat breakfast. Yashiro gives Ren some antacid pills. In a flashback, Sho tells Kyoko that in the future, the only person he'll concede defeat to is her. Kyoko looks determined, but Ren interpreted that, or what Sho said, as a declaration of love. Not what Kyoko's reacted, but what Sho said. Ren concludes that Fuwa threw that challenge at him. Sho finishes the song. He tells Shoko to make copies of them and hand them out to the crew. He didn't have enough paper, so he wrote on the back. He tells her to make copies of that too, what's written on the back, as they contain important parts. Shoko asks if they'll get stolen again, but he just tells her to make the copies quick. Ren, Miss Momose, and Kyoko do a dark moon scene together. Afterwards, Ren rests in his trailer and apparently feels defeated. Kyoko goes in the trailer and asks in a panic if he's alright. Elsewhere, Vigo got a copy of Sho's sheet music for his new song. Reino, communicating with messages on his phone because he's beat up so much, tells them that he's hurt all over and can't sing. It's revealed that the one who finishes recording first wins between Vigo and Sho Fuwa. Back with Kyoko, Yashiro apparently told Kyoko that Ren got sick remembering the breakfast he was forced to eat. Kyoko asks Ren if there's anything that she can do for him. Ren tells her that there's one thing he'd like her to do for him. Shoko asks Sho if he's really going to release this as his new song. And then Vigo, we're also shown that Vigo questions what Shofu was thinking. It turns out that the song is Vigo's song Birth, but it's just a rearrangement of that song. Vigo finds another song on the back of the sheet music and play it, but it's a complete decoy and a song called Roar of Laughter. One bandmate concedes that Sho got them. It turns out that Sho listened to Vigo's song just once or twice. Writing the score from memory and rearranging it is as easy as breathing for him. Sho decides to start recording. He tells the musician and crew, musicians and crew, to hand over their cell phones to his manager. He's going to have them memorize what he plays on the spot, then they'll arrange it and complete it. He can't have their performances or meetings sent over a cell phone by the spy. One of the band members, and the band's called Woodstick, tells Sho that they have pride and that they'll catch the spy and to give them more time. But Sho refuses, He tells them that they're all close friends and they don't want to hurt their pride. Waiting is a waste of time. Sho doesn't trust any of them and doesn't care who the spy is, but he does trust their first-class talent, though. Sho isn't asking for loyalty or integrity. He just wants the best possible sound and asks if they'll give him that, and they all agree. Elsewhere, Ogata is waiting next to the trailer. He went inside and saw something that he wasn't supposed to. But it turns out that all that was happening was that Ren was sleeping on Kyoko's lap. So at the end of the volume, In an internal monologue, when with Ren's head still on Kyoko's lap, Ren says that the dim and heavy mass that was coiling deep in his heart is dissolving. So, some thoughts. Sho and Ren, I'm going to say this right now, and I know it's a shoujo manga, there is some level of violence here. You gotta kind of wonder, at least for me, I always kind of wonder, and we saw it with Sho and Reino, but are Sho and Ren gonna get into fisticuffs eventually? Because, like, this guy keeps, like, kind of daring him, keeps kind of ruffling his Ren's feathers. He kicked that like lamppost thing in front of him. There's the stuff with him, he shows always between Ren and Kyoko and whatnot, and it's just kind of like, is there gonna kind of come a point where Ren's just like, back away from Kyoko, I'm gonna beat you up, or what? Like sometimes I kind of wonder, because Shell also pointed out that Ren was not in the loop, and man, it just goes back to what I said about Volume 15. It's like, well, he's not. Yeah, he might be the main star, but like in reality, it's not. Only some of it is a need to know basis, but the fact of the matter is, he's not in the loop. Yeah, he is an outsider, I mean, and I get it, why he'd feel bad about it, because he obviously likes Kyoko and wants to be, you know, intimately involved and personally involved with what's going on, and not just be seen as like some guy that Kyoko knows, we got to see a little bit more progress with Kyoko and Ren in the forest. Um, there's some really interesting stuff with Kyoka and Ren, because it's like there are kind of like these scenes where like when Kyoko and Ren are alone, I think things turn out well. There aren't many opportunities for them to be alone. Usually Yashiro's around or something like that. But when it's just these two, I mean, you don't really see too much of like this blossoming love story though. Because it's always Kyoko like, oh, I have to explain myself to this guy. It's like she has to keep explaining herself to this guy, and it's just like, it can never just be truly lovey-dovey, except near the end, though. But it's never just a case of like, I want to do this. I want, it's almost like, oh, there's Ren. I didn't tell him what happened. I better join him, and I guess she can't run away, you know. So it's like she better join him, explain what happened, and to walk around the forest. It's never just a case of like, hey, what's up, man? Let's hang out. Like it's just like there's always something about it. When they're alone, they it can never just be like just them. It's always like some sort of circumstance that leads to them being alone, together, and just allow them to express themselves and whatnot. But Kyoko and Sho are a bit different though. I mean, yeah, they are generally together by some weird circumstance, but they generally reveal their feelings to each other in some way, shape, or form. It's not feelings of love. Sometimes it's just like, oh, hey, when you're kids, you just sat around while I cried. I don't want to make you feel bad, but it's like, they tell each other things, especially as they were kids, and like it's usually not interrupted. I mean, they're kind of like their own barriers to each other in a sense, though. Like, they can never, like, I don't know if they should all get together, but man, it kind of looks like it because Sho almost admitted his feelings to Kyoko. So that's really interesting, It's like, oh, he likes her, I mean, it's obvious that it was always obvious, but like, he made the move, And then like Ren's kind of there too, So now we got the three-way thing going on, the love triangle thing going on right now. Reino's kind of there, so maybe you got the love square, but Reino's just kind of like a bully, you know? But yeah, Kyoko and Sho have this thing, you know, that maybe they are bound by fate because like they it seemed like there's stuff in their past that still keeps them together, you know? And now in their present, it's kind of like their lives are kind of intertwined in a sense. I mean, just because they're both in showbiz, for one thing. Even though Sho does music and Kyoko does acting, but like Kyoko's there doing acting because of Sho, you know. Ren, you know, you can't say the same with Kyoko and Ren. You know, Kyoko isn't acting because of Ren. Well, she wants to. She looks up to him, so I guess he's kind of connected, but not that deeply connected. And it looks like Ren's trying to make himself a little more deeply connected to Kyoko. Um, but like, I don't. Right now, Kyoko and Sho, even though it's a very toxic thing, honestly, a bit toxic. They seem to be more like together. I mean, once again, it's like, what happens if he admits his feelings to her? Then it's like, oh, is she gonna admit her feelings to him or something? I mean, she treat, you know, he treated her like garbage. This guy's around doing his music thing. He's not gonna be able to see her. She's doing Dark Moon and whatnot, and like, they're not gonna see each other very much, are they? Like, you know, are they gonna be lovey-dovey around each other? I mean, come on, you know. Um, you know, put Kyoko and Ren in the forest. Put Kyoko and Sho in the forest. What happens? You know what I mean? Um, you know, it's just gonna be more volatile with Kyoko and Sho, but Sho still has a thing for her. Kyoko though, it's just like a weird obsession with Sho. That's very unhealthy. And like I said, say it again. I say it all the time. Skippy is just full of like terrible people. You know, I mean, quite honestly, because everything about this is comically unhealthy. You know, it's very comical. You know, like despite what I say about being, you know, using words like toxic and whatnot, it's very comically done. You know, but if you actually look at it outside the comedy, it's like, yeah, this is not healthy for anyone. We do know a little bit more about Sho yet again, that he is a real musician, not just some visual K guy, not just an image, but a guy that has talent for music. He is not just a pretty boy, you know, and whatnot. Like, he knows music, he can arrange music, he can make music, he's actually good at doing it. Um, you know, he's not a one-dimensional guy. You know, so like, which is good. Like Kyoko and Ren are both actors. They like acting. They want to get better at acting. They struggle with acting, and it's good to see that Sho has that with music. It's not just a vehicle for him, for girls to like him. It's like, oh no, no, it looks like he actually cares about making music. You know, not obviously he cares about the Shotaro Fuwa persona, but like he has a real affinity towards music. He can recognize good music. He can recognize good talent. Um, so it's something a bit more positive about the guy, a bit more serious too, because a lot of times we just see the guy being a bit sinister or like conniving sometimes, a bit like plotting, you know, he's always plotting something or another, but this time he just seems like a serious guy. Like, hey, let's make music, guys. You're all good. I don't trust any of you guys. We're all good musicians. Let's just make good music, you know? And it was cool because once again, Vigal got fooled by Show. They're kind of getting their just desserts for, you know, seeing his image and his music. So, you know, it, it's bound to happen in a sense. I didn't think it happened so soon, but you know, it happened. Like Show got the better of him. Good on Show for doing that. And then you know we got to see Kyoko and Ren in the trailer. Like I said, when these two are together alone, Um, it's usually by circumstance. Obviously, Yashiro had to like set it up, you know, and then Ren ate too much and whatnot. But like, you can tell Ren is really trying to like get involved in her life, you know, like chipping away. You know, it's like okay, I really want, you know, it seems like he really wants to insert himself, you know, make Kyoko think about him. You know, maybe he's not thinking that because, like with Shofua, that's all Kyoko's thinking about: get revenge on Shofua. It's never a case of like, let's go get together with Ren Suruga, you know. But like Ren, slowly but surely chipping away. Maybe Kyoko's gonna be starting to think about Ren. You know, we'll see how this all goes. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel. Thank you for listening to this manga review. Next time, I will have a manga review for Skip Beat Volume 17 and 18, a reading of my short story, The Witch's Origin, and in a few weeks, I'll have a journal for my time and WonderCon. I'll probably cosplay one more time, or cosplay again. We'll see. I'll have pictures, of course. So please check that out. It's gonna be late March. So thank you, and until next time.